Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight it's Monday, Motivate Monday, and you're on the Voices Randomist channel. And I'm your host, Eldridge Alexander, and I'm honored to be here tonight with my friend, and I like to think as one of my younger brothers, Kempton Freeman. And I'm gonna let him talk to you tonight. But our topic tonight is gonna be diversity challenges and what has happened or changed for some of our young men or our brothers since a year ago when this pandemic started. We were already under fire with a lot of challenges in our community. So, want to talk a little bit today about maybe what's different, what's changed, what are some of the challenges and successes. So, Kempton, thank you. I know how valuable time is today, and I'm not going to keep you long tonight because
Yeah.
I understand it's really mad out there. March Madness. And I got to give it up for Gonzaga because my brother George, that's his alma mater. So shout out to the people of Gonzaga. Shout out to George. I hope you guys win tonight.
Go Bears.
Oh, well, all right then. Well, oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, Kimza, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe about where you grew up, where you went to school. A little bit about anything you want to share about your family or anything like that.
First and foremost, thanks for having me, Eldridge. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking time out of your day, and doing this segment. And Kempton Freeman, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Been in Wisconsin about 20 years now. Um, living in Appleton for the last 9 years. A father to a beautiful 8-year-old boy. A man of faith, a man of purpose, and trying to figure out what I'm trying to do in my life, and just navigating in spaces. And for my family, I love them all, all dysfunctional, I love it. It's a blessing to be the oldest of 11, and just what I mean, understanding that that played a major role in my development, of my mental capacity and the space that I have for empathy and compassion and patience. And I think that responsibility component, and then just working, work for the Appleton Area School District, culture advisor, academic advisor, work for the Fox Valley Tech as a transition specialist. And, in the other meantime, between time, I try to support all my people and try to make sure that I, lead by action instead of like opinion or just words all the time, and just try to be the best person I can be. So.
That is amazing. You talked about being born in St. Louis and living in Wisconsin. Uh, when How old were you when you migrated from St. Louis to Wisconsin? And then, if you can remember, what was the distinct cultural differences when you came from St. Louis to Wisconsin? And then, even like now, maybe the difference in the last 5 or 10 years that you've seen in Appleton's culture.
Well, I went to school here. I lost my scholarship at the University of Texas El Paso, and ended up at Lakeland University. My cousin was there, Courtney Gatlin, before me, and he was there, and he got me to come to Lakeland, which is in all intents and purposes a very small school,
Yeah.
and it was different, and but it was a blessing. I think I walked on that campus a boy, and I left a man. I think Lakeland definitely helped me. It gave me a sense of direction that I didn't have before. And I think joining the fraternity, Beta Sigma Omega, my fraternity, no, it's not a divine nine people, but just being on that small campus with that group of people definitely got me through some pretty hard times. And I think that I owe them everything that I am just being on that campus. So, and the 5 years that, I've been in Appleton for a while, but I think the last 5 years it's been a roller coaster. I think the social climate changed a lot in 2016.
Mhm.
I feel like it's shifting back a little bit. I think even though Wisconsin is a red state, I think it's a lot of it moves progressively, and sometimes it stays stagnant. But that's to be expected, I guess, when we're talking about the realms of politics, which I don't talk about. Um, I don't put too much stock of value in it, but you try to make sure that you see like um, a avenue for entrepreneurs, or an avenue of entrepreneurship at a higher level, and I see that a lot more. I wish it would be more, opportunities for, Black entrepreneurs to develop and grow in this area. But, hopefully that'll change sometime soon, and it'll be something that flourishes very well. I know it's a lot of great individuals that's doing a lot of great things on an entrepreneur standpoint. We got the Bankses, the prominent Banks family. You got the Bennett's. You got Kay. You got Netta and Tonip. You got a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. You got Bess doing her stuff with, her diversity, and now with this, poetry segment, and it's just been great. And the coaches, the trainers that we got, Anthony Miller, Coop, and all the other guys, Steve Baker, the people that's really, doing what they're supposed to do. And, I couldn't be more proud of everybody who doing their thing. Logan with his unload the weight, like everybody doing something. And I think that's the cool part. And I hope it just continue to be something that everybody get to see, like that this avenue is needed, and it's a very small place. And I think if it should flourish more in small spaces. So I think that's something I look forward to seeing in the next 5 years and see how that look here. So.
Yeah, for those of you who just joined, or if you watch this video later on, you're on the Voices Randomist channel on YouTube. And the purpose of this show is to engage and inspire and uplift you. So one of the things that we did, our mission was to expose the hidden entrepreneurship here in Appleton, Fox cities, as a way for people to promote their businesses, promote their services, the work that they're actually doing. So thank you so much for being on here. And I like the fact that there is a shout out to like the Banks family for who started Cozy, and who's it's been taken over by the Bennetts, and you got Cozy still doing their things, and then you got Caribbean Jerk Joint doing their thing, and then like you said, my sister Bess is out there doing her thing. My sister Dartania is out there with her store, Lady Love Winks. Of course, you guys all know that I host Voices Randomist Tea Kettle Talk on YouTube, and then I'm here with my friend and my brother Kempton Freeman. We all doing things here, and that's what we really want to do, is expose the good in our community, because we're doing a lot, y'all. So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges. Like you said, entrepreneurship, yes, there's some things that have changed, but what has really stayed the same, if you will? Take me back to some of the things that may have been challenges that you've encountered yourself, and if any of those things you've been able to overcome those, how did you make that happen?
I think, like it's a small space. So you would think that, entrepreneurship will flourish a lot better, which it does, but like sometimes it's just stagnant, and it shouldn't. I feel like it shouldn't be stagnant. Like I feel like it should be like ever flowing avenues of spaces for people that's really, doing something. Like and I had talked to some people, and I was telling them, like, it's the sad thing about, cultural dynamic of, African Americans as a whole. I think we the only culture that deal with, colorism within our culture, like, because it's such an eclectic thing. And I think, that's also come with the crab in the bucket mentality, or the disengagement that we have with each other as a community. And I feel like sometimes I wish that could we come together and do more, and I think that's the part where it's disconnected. We should want to do more, but I feel like it's such a small place, right? Like the revenue, like the avenue for growth is not as high as it would be in a bigger city. But I feel like even in a bigger city, would you still be able to flourish the way that I feel like you could in a smaller market? Like that's a question I don't have an answer to. But I feel like, why is it that, like, you know, K them doing a thing at Tapers.
Right.
Then you got Legends in the mall.
Right.
Why is it that, you know, if those two places would work together, they could like corner the market, for to say, you know what I mean? Like it's a market that they could corner, because like, ethnic hair, like barbers is it's a real trend, and it's really something that people get involved in. I think just understanding, like, we don't have to always be in competition with each other. And I feel like that's always what we do. Like if somebody that you see that look like you, that's doing the same thing, like you want to do exactly the same thing they doing, like without trying to find like your niche or what you want to do, but still doing the same things. Like I'm not saying you can't, you don't have to do different things. That's not what I'm saying, because it's a lot of basketball coaches. You coaching basketball. The umbrella is basketball. Maybe you emphasize on defensive strategies, or maybe you emphasize on offensive strategy. Maybe you emphasize on technique. Like everybody don't have to do technique. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that when you do technique, or it's time, like you can do offensive strategy and then you send them to the person that's doing technique or something like that? Like you feed off each other. I think it's super important that we understand, like, we shouldn't be in competition with each other all the time. And I feel like that's the problem. Like, I think that's the best thing about my friend group. Like, I don't compete with nobody. Like, we don't compete with each other. It's very, we elevate each other. I think that's the cool part. Like, I want to see them do well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no inkling in my body to see them fail. Like, I don't want that for them. Like, and if I had the resources to help them succeed, I would. Like, that's just what I would do, because they're my people. Like, I don't want to see them do horrible, because I don't think that's right for anybody. So I think when you talk about the community, you wish that it was a stronger knitted community. I think that's the big thing. You wish it was a stronger knitted community. And it's generational things. Like, some of these things, like generational seepage, is very real. Like, that's a very real thing. And I think that Black anxiety or that Black cusp of, it's not enough money for everybody, or like, should it be about money? Probably not. But money is important. Like, you got to have commerce to live. So I think I don't know. I don't have the answers for it. Like I tell all African American people, all people, I love everybody. Like, I ain't trying to like do nothing to nobody or see nobody fail. So I think that's like the part I wish I could see more of a less of a divide and a more united front. I think that'll be something that I look forward to seeing one day. So
So the thing about it is, and I'm gonna come from a different perspective because it's what I do, right?
right,
I think of everything is systems theory. And systems theory means that everything has a place in it. And so if you think about geese when they fly as a system, a unit, they have to sort of coordinate and communicate with one another about who's going to do what, because everybody can't always be first. And one thing about it is the person who's first, you take the most wind shear. I mean, you take the brunt of everything first. If you picture the flight, geese in flight, it's that backward V, right? That
right,
main bird is out in the front. But if you notice the way geese are, they can sense when it's too much on the leader and others step up. And no one, they switch places. And you can find all kind of literature in the animal kingdom about how birds and how geese, how they operate when they migrate, because they use the wind shear off the other people in the group to carry them when they get a little tired. And what I'm saying about that is that if they didn't have the system set up the right way, if you pull the wrong geese out, it's kind of like a Jenga puzzle. If you pull it out the wrong one at the wrong time and it don't line up, everything falls apart. So I think that one of the things that we forget is that we can take lessons from the animal kingdom to understand messages that are being sent to us. Now, I'm not saying we necessarily going to take all of the tenets of the geese family, but we can certainly learn that there's collaboration and teamwork and communication there that helps them to be able to excel to the heights and to go to go through several miles. You know what I mean? Just
right,
understanding what position he plays. It's just like if you're in a quartet. If you play in the bass fiddle, I don't expect you to be on the piano too. You know, if you got it like they're fine, but that's why they call it a quartet, because you need those four different pieces, those instruments to make that specific sound that people have come to enjoy. So I think that when we understand, like you said, one thing, scarcity theory, there's enough money to go around. So we don't have to feel like if you got a hair shop, I can't have one. And I'll tell you why we know that that's not true. You wouldn't have so many brands of cars if it was true that you could only have one type of vehicle and nobody else can make money. And you
right,
wouldn't have all the brands of clothing, and you wouldn't have all the different, all the other things like coffee shops and You couldn't have Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and you know what I'm saying? Because they'll say, oh,
Hey,
KFC. Because they'll be like, well, they got chicken over there. But no, my chicken got this. You know, I got 23 flavors or whatever.
both of them lines still long. But anyway, yeah, I hear you.
So you feel it. So what we have to ask ourselves is then, like you talked about, those are the challenges that we know. But what are some of the successes that you found? What are the things that have gotten you to where you are? Because obviously you don't fit the status quo that people think. So there's some things you talked about a fraternity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk, that's a brotherhood. That's some
Right.
okay. So talk about the things that have helped you and the successes that you found as a result.
Well, first and foremost, like my newfound understanding and faith in God, like just understanding I had to put something above myself. You know what I mean? Not thinking that I was the alpha and the omega. I think that was super important. And I think my pastor Alvin Dupree, I thank him, even though he's not here, like we still talk like twice a week, and we still communicate. And my cousin, Avery Harris, who is a minister in Indiana, who I talk to once a week as well, and just listening to them, and my group of friends, man, like I don't know, like it's been cool, man. Obviously, the fraternity was my first like understanding what it meant to like be in a group of African American males, and just it was different, because growing up, like you either was something or you wasn't. So I think I was always trying to be something instead of not. So I think, but being around different groups of people from different places, and just understanding who they were as men, I think that helped me out a lot. Um, Obviously, my guys here and the friends that I have grown into, like, I tell people, man, I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not for everybody. I'm a very like, if you get to know me, I think you'll like me. But if you're just looking at me from a distance, it's hard to figure me out and stuff like that. But the group of friends that I have accumulated over the 38 years of my life, I think they have, they my brothers. I feel like I don't need a lot of friends. Like the friends I got, like I trust them with my life, and that's super important to me. Like, I'm not a socialite. Like I don't care about that stuff. And now, obviously, and my dad, just he was just a great man. I think, I didn't have him when I was a teenager, so that was tough. But I think for the 9 years he was around, like he helped me a lot. He helped me. He taught me how to survive. You know what I mean? Like that was big. Like I think that was the part. Like he taught me how to survive. Like he taught me what I needed to do to survive, and I obviously I did that. And last but certainly not least, like my son, like what I'm saying, like he the greatest thing I got. You know what I mean? Like like he the greatest thing I got, man. Like I can't even like he just my person. Like I think like he's just the person who get me the most, or like love me for me and want to see me do well. And he loved me being around him, and I think that's the cool part. And I think he definitely keep me grounded. He definitely my greatest connection to God. And I mean, I tell people that, like, I wasn't a believer or nothing like that, or not too long ago, but my son will always like talk to me about God and like tell me that God want me to do well, God looking out for me. Like and it's like when he was 2 or 3, like he would really have these conversations with me. And I think that was the cool part. But, I'm glad we share that now, and I'm glad we share that space. And I think it just made our bond stronger, and he loved having me around. And I think that's cool because a lot of people don't, but I think he a good kid, and I couldn't be like the person I am today without him.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's just the greatest thing that ever happened to me. But and it helped me in my professional life. Like it helped me want to do better. It helped me want to succeed more. Like I said, I want to show him by action, and not just like talking to him all the time, but like show him like, yo, your dad is a hard worker. Your dad, trying to make positive change, trying to, support, try to, do for the culture, try to teach him what it means to be a black man in this world and what that's going to look like for him. And I think I try to do the best that I can with, with the time I got, and I just trying to keep moving forward. So that's pretty much like I'll be doing.
Yeah, I like that you talked about faith. You talked about the fraternity, your fatherhood, and what it means to you to be
Yeah,
a father. What what is the most important thing that you'll be passing on to your son?
man. I think just the last name. I think just to understand it, like he come from a great line of people, and even if he don't get the full brunt of that that he just proud of his last name, like he proud of who he is. You know what I mean? And I think that pride come with the understanding, like, like I tell people, like, only thing I want is when I'm not here no more is that people, tell my son that I was a good person. Like that's all I care about. Like if I can do that for him, and I think he'll start to see, like, as he get older, like, what I'm saying, my dad tried really hard. Like I think that's all I ever want for him. Like to see that I'm constantly trying. So
Well, thank you so much. I really this is a perfect place to wrap up our interview. I mean, I love your last name, Freeman.
yeah,
And what you talked about a name on Tea Kettle Talk last week or a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about the importance of legacy. And I remember what Jay-Z was talking about in 444 about everything is legacy. And there was a time when we cared about what our name said about us. And I want to thank you for bringing back, what it means to have faith and put faith first and live by that faith, to have us understood that the fraternity is the place where you can learn to trust and build bridges and relationships and have a brotherhood, that we're not all against each other. And that fatherhood, I love your face. You just lit up when you talked about your son and how fatherhood is the most precious gift that can be given to a man or a woman, anybody, because we're not all destined to have children, right? And we take for granted that. And so I love that you recognize the value of what you have been given at 38. And then you talked about Avery Harris, a minister who was, someone in your life other than your father, who really, really put an imprint on your life. My last question for you is, do you have a favorite teacher? And if so, why, who was it, and how did they influence you? Y'all got one. Everybody got one.
yeah. I think like for me, I think that I don't want to say it. I got two, but I want to do a positive and a negative one. Like I think the negative one came when I was in third grade. I had a teacher, Miss Ledbetter, and I wasn't the best kid. Like I'm not gonna like pretend or nothing like that. But I was a to myself kid, but I could cause a little ruckus every once in a while. And I remember sitting in class and goofing off or whatever, not listening. She told me that Kempton, you're either gonna you know what these streets are like. You're either gonna end up dead or in a box. And I'm like, okay, and that's when I was in third grade.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't know how to handle like the emotions or whatever. But you know, um, I think when I graduated high school, before I went to college, like, I went to visit her, you know what I mean? And just wanted to, tell her that, I made it or whatever. And I think, and we had a great conversation. Like, and I think like I was so like wanted to go in there and like rub it in her face or whatever. But when it was all said and done, like, we actually had a great conversation. Because over time, like, I feel like people change, man. People grow, like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody, either you change for the better or the worse. But like, I hope that like people see that I changed for the better. But I do understand. And when I was in college, like, it was a professor,
Mhm.
rest his soul, man. Garland Shieldcut, my professor at Lakeland.
Okay.
I took his accounting class. I failed it twice. Like, he failed me. Like, and he was the only African American professor on the campus. He
Okay.
failed me twice. And I remember senior year, I took his etiquette class, and I remember, we was at Margot's. It was this 5-star restaurant in Sheboygan at the time, and he was like, he sat at the table with me. He was like, Captain, why I was so hard on you? And I was like, well, you failed me twice, and I don't know what happened, but he was like, and he's like, man, he said, I want you to be more than a black man and carry a ball. And he was like, and I couldn't take it easy on you when I knew that you had potential. And whether you saw that potential or not, I couldn't take it easy on you just because you was an athlete and you was black. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that resonated to me. And when he passed away, and we was all reminiscing on those times, and I remember him saying it to me, man. And that, what I mean, I think that did a lot for me in my development, what I mean, in my understanding. Like, it's not just enough to be, what I'm saying? If you got opportunity to do, you do more. What I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't have that opportunity. A lot of people don't have the chance to do more. You know what I mean? Like, my uncle been in jail half of his life. You know what I'm saying? He ain't had an opportunity to do more. So I got to do more because, I got to make sure that, like, he understand, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, he sacrificed himself, whatever he feel like he did, just so I wouldn't have to put myself in those positions. And I think that, like, that's super important. So she'll cut, Miss Ledbetter, if you're out there one day and you happen to see this podcast, hey, you did a good job. You know what I'm saying? You lit a fire under me, and I appreciate you for it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kipton, for this tonight. I really appreciate it. Are you guys back in school full time now, or are you still hybrid, or what's the
Yeah,
story?
we back. All the students running the hallways, and good old times. But hey, I was vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? I survived, and
Vaccination.
yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We was I was a little skeptical, but I'm glad I did it. Anything to make my son feel safer, or
Tell the people out this vaccination you took, and when
yeah,
just so that people will feel better. They
it
need
was cool. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? That was 3.5 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? I feel great. You know what I mean? Like
Pfizer, Moderna, J
oh,
and
I took the J&J.
J. Okay.
It was just one dose of pure power, and
Okay.
it took it. Hey, it was different, but after the first couple of days, which was to be expected, like I was fine. You know what I mean? So hey, like I said, man, everybody out there, man, thank you for Eldridge. Appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks live. Doing your thing, and supporting best, and I think this unspoken word is a growing great thing, and I'm saying, I hope it continue, and I'm looking forward to always seeing my people go out there and shine and do their thing, and I'm saying, congratulations on that, and much success to you, and I see you up there, and I'll be there, saying what's up and all that.
We know you. We got your support, and thank you again. And as he was saying, next week, everybody, Words Left Unsaid, Part 2, Appleton Beer Factory, Saturday at 7 o'clock, April 17th. We'll see you there. Kenta, thank you again so much for this interview tonight. I really appreciate it. You can find this on Voices Randomish out there, and diversity does matter. And like he said, if you have an opportunity to do more, then take it. Right? All right,
Absolutely.
everybody. Thank you so much. All right,
Take it
everybody.
easy.
Yeah,
Go Baylor. Hey, to my son, I love you.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Well, everybody, you saw the interview here with Kempton Freeman. He's with the Appleton Public Schools Systems, 38-year-old brother, oldest of 11, doing his thing out there, relying on his faith, the support of his fraternity, and practicing all the good tenets of fatherhood. Join me tomorrow night on Voices Randomish channel here on YouTube for Tea Kettle Talk with me and my sisters, because we're going to talk a lot about a bunch of crazy stuff that we know you care about. So, hey, again, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe because, as always, we want to know what's your frequency